The calls started around 8 p.m., all from motorists driving down a specific segment of an Oregon highway. At first, the police assumed they were being pranked, but then the sheer volume of calls told them that something was definitely out there. Each panicked driver that called relayed the exact same story. Something massive, much bigger than a bear, was running alongside the freeway. The creature stood well over 7 feet tall, ran on 2 legs, and appeared to be panicked. One couple described the creature as roaring and clearly terrified of the traffic rushing by. As driver after driver flooded local police lines, cruisers were immediately dispatched. Sadly, by the time they arrived, the creature had already plunged back into the deep woods of Oregon's forests. As the American population expands and pushes ever deeper into pristine and untouched forests that still span the North American continent, Bigfoot sightings continue to increase on a nearly year-by-year basis. While many of these are clearly hoaxes, as many more are misidentifications, the sheer volume of eyewitness sightings is enough
Shit's
to give the
real.
rational thinker pause. Could all of those sightings of the legendary creature truly be pure fabrications or accidental misidentifications? While once considered nothing more than a folk tale or outright hoax, the growing evidence for a population of Sasquatch on the North American continent has begun to lure in serious scientific experts, and a great number of those are becoming increasingly convinced after reviewing available evidence that something does indeed stalk the woods of the American continent.
That's
One of
right.
the most obvious and the first pieces of evidence of the Sasquatch phenomenon are footprints found in nearly all climates and environments across North America. The creature, now known as Bigfoot, got its name from reports of mysterious footprints found at a construction site in California.
We got him.
Stuck ever since. A name which was well earned, as the footprints are quite massive, ranging an average of 18 inches in length. Yet the Bigfoot community would be rocked when in 2002, one of the construction workers who discovered the footprints, Ray Wallace, admitted to faking the prints. Not only that, but he had faked prints in many other areas of the country using his custom-made wooden big feet that he simply strapped onto and stomped around in. The entire
Motherfucker had a foot fetish. That's what happened. Motherfucker had a damn foot fetish, and he just wanted to contaminate the whole world to keep us from learning what we really need to know.
phenomenon appeared to be dead, clearly a hoax from the start. And yet, this was far from the truth. Wallace's work sites throughout his lifetime were plotted out by researchers, which helped debunk many suspected sightings. Yet there was still a major problem. While Wallace was actively hoaxing, prints were appearing hundreds, even thousands of miles away.
You see?
What's more, Wallace's prints were not the first to be discovered. They were simply the first to draw
I knew it.
attention in such a large way. In fact, Bigfoot sightings and footprints have been reported since the dawn of the American nation, and Native Americans have long believed in and reported on the existence of the creature, claiming
The
that
OGs
they have
even know
lived
it.
alongside it for thousands of years. But perhaps this is all folklore, though it would still be difficult to explain why people on the other side of the country started hoaxing Bigfoot tracks at the exact same time as Wallace. If these tracks are indeed all fake, then these hoaxers are far more sophisticated than anyone ever suspected. Dr. Jeff Meldrum has long spoken on the specific qualities of Bigfoot tracks.
Jeffy!
He is Associate Professor of Anatomy and Anthropology, as well as the Adjunct Associate Professor of the Department of Anthropology at
And I tell you what, I was never too much into your science, folk. But once you started turning around and start making them normies out there understand what I've been telling them, that them Bigum, he's real. We're gonna find him. Kill him. I don't know why we need to kill him, but we do. Because nobody can be bigger than me. Oh. Well, if they're bigger than me, then my wife's gonna sleep with them. Yeah.
Idaho State College. He's well qualified to speak on the subject. Meldrum is an expert on foot morphology and
Holster.
most importantly, on locomotion in primates. Dr. Meldrum understands how primate feet are shaped by evolution and how this affects their locomotion.
Now that motherfucker's got a foot fetish. No. I just. Yeah, so I heard you want to be in anthropology. Yeah. I just want to know how their feet are. I just want to know how their feet looks. That's all. I just want to know how their feet look. I just want to see a big Yeti foot. Have them stomp on me. Ah! The fuck did you say, Jeff? Sorry. I'm just kidding around. Let's find the Sasquatch.
Ocean. And while initially skeptical of the phenomenon, his investigation into hundreds of casts has now convinced him there's a possibility of an unidentified large
Bet money Tarantino likes Bigfoot.
primate in the American forests. Dr. Meldrum's conclusion is derived from several common qualities found amongst the footprint casts he considers to be authentic.
He's like, you see his face, he's like, yeah, fuck this one. Like, sir, why does that one have a hole in it? That's my special foot. That's my special foot. I just love feet, man.
Derived from several common qualities found amongst the footprint casts he considers to be authentic. The first is the identification of dermal ridges. These
Fuck, dermal ridges.
patterns in the skin that are similar to that of your fingertips.
Oh.
While drying plaster can sometimes form impressions that seem like dermal ridges.
Oh my gosh, we got. Whoa, shit. Thank God the camera's up. Woo. Anybody feeling hot?
Common phenomenon. The second piece of evidence is the presence of a mid-tarsal break,
Shit.
identified by the way that the footprint is created on the ground as the creature moves. This is a feature common to apes but not found in humans, and this is caused by the foot actually bending before an ape takes its next stride. Next is the spacing of the footprints themselves, which is often in excess of 3 feet. By measuring the space between footprints, the gait or walk of a creature can be measured, and time and again this figure comes up to such a superhuman value that it would be extremely biologically difficult and sometimes impossible for a human.
This is like me and short people. Motherfuckers have to take 5 minutes to copy just 2 of my steps. Like, damn. Like, come on, keep up. Jog if you have to. All right, we got shit to do.
Human to hoax. But Dr. Meldrum is far from the only professional expert who believes in the possibility.
I love you, short people. Beautiful. You don't have to worry about like ceilings and shit.
Of a large unidentified ape. Police fingerprint technician Jimmy Shilkett became interested in the phenomenon after watching a Bigfoot documentary, when, in his own words, he was shocked at the appearance of primate identifying characteristics in the.
You do have to worry about like shell shit. But, you know, whatever. You'll figure it out.
Plaster casts such as dermal ridges. The discovery propelled him to look into the phenomenon using his specialized technical knowledge as a fingerprint forensic specialist, and he became convinced that while some tracks were fake, others misidentified, a large enough body of them existed that pointed at the possibility of a large primate. If every Bigfoot track is being created by hoaxers, then clearly the real mystery here is why a body of primate anatomy and locomotion experts have been pranking the nation for decades. Perhaps the most famous.
Yeah. Guys. What if we just prank the whole fucking world? Just like, we just spread across the world and just put our big feet, the big feet everywhere. Yeah.
And controversial piece of evidence, however, is the Patterson.
Oh, there she is. Oh, I'll rewind that.
Controversial piece of evidence, however, is the Patterson
Oh, God.
which purports to show the clearest footage yet of a large bipedal animal walking across a dry riverbed in Northern California. According to Robert Patterson, the man who shot the film, he and his friend Robert Gimlin came across the creature while on horseback trying to gather evidence for the existence of Bigfoot. Despite noticing the men, the creature simply moved off in a brisk, wide gait, looking back at them several times. Robertson, who was shocked at the appearance of the creature, took about 20 seconds to get his panicked horse under control, hop off the saddle, and grab his camera. leaving most of the encounter unfilmed. Since that fateful day in 1967, the film has been repeatedly inspected, dissected, and
My
reconstructed
God.
by scientists the world over in a bid to discover if the film is real or a hoax. While several people have come forward to claim they were the man in the costume, studies of the film have time and again indicated that the subject may have been a real biological creature. One of the most damning pieces of evidence used by skeptics to debunk the film is a completely unsubstantiated rumor that the Bigfoot costume used in the film was designed by legendary makeup artist John Chambers, who created the costumes for Planet of the Apes. Yet these rumors are exactly that, hand-me-down stories that can't even be authentically traced back to Chambers himself making that statement. They also beg several key common-sense questions, the most prominent of which is simply, why in the world would an Academy Award-winning makeup artist create a costume
They're
for a
real.
completely unknown former rodeo clown to fake a Bigfoot film with? And secondly, why would he create a costume that is visibly far more advanced than anything Hollywood would use for the next 4 decades, and then never recreate that work on a professional film? In determining the validity of the costume claim, film analysis has
For the
focused on
lulz.
gathering painstaking detail of the creature frame by frame as it moves. And this analysis shows that as the creature in the film moves, entire muscle groups can be seen to also move on the creature's body. This is simply too far outside the realm of possibility for 1967 costume technology, and actuated artificial muscles wouldn't be incorporated into Hollywood costumes for decades to come. The only possibility for the suit to clearly show these well-defined muscle movements is for the suit wearer to have the suit physically worn next to his own body, meaning that the person in the costume would have had to be truly a massive individual, far outside the physical limits of most human beings, and well outside those of anyone who is claimed to be the man in the costume. Famously, Disney executive Ken Peterson was quoted as saying that Disney technicians would be unable to recreate a suit so realistic, and if his technicians couldn't recreate it, then how would an unknown like Patterson have done so in the first place? Universal Studios special effects technicians, upon being shown the film, recently concluded that they could possibly try and fake it, but they would have to create a brand new suit using artificial muscles, and then find an actor who could be trained to walk in the extremely peculiar way the creature in the film moves. Yet the
You know, Universal is just like, yeah, no, fuck Disney. We got that. We totally could do that. What? Yeah. Yeah, no. Hey, Disney, suck a dick. We could do it. It would just take some time.
creature's movement reveals even more interesting details that hint at the authenticity of the footage. Notably, primate and human locomotion experts have worked to painstakingly recreate the gait of the creature with human subjects. They found that while the creature's gait doesn't resemble any known primate, it's also extremely unlike that of a human, and instead seems to sit somewhere in between the two. While the gait has been successfully recreated with a professional
Sure, I feel totally weird.
even the researchers responsible for the study admitted that it was an extremely uncomfortable, unnatural movement that would be difficult to maintain for long periods of time. Dmitry Donskoy, head of the Department of Biomechanics at the
Donskoy.
Central Institute of Physical Culture, agreed with the results of the recreation decades before it even happened.
I knew
noting
it.
that the creature's movements were too natural and confident, while also unnatural for a human, for it to have been easily faked. Consider the rocky, uneven ground that the event took place in, and it speaks even more to the difficulty in hoaxing such movements. Even more damning for the hypothesis that the creature is just a man in a suit is that a computer reconstruction of the anatomy of the creature, using known locations for the creature's joints, shows that the creature has a far longer torso than legs, well outside the natural range of any human.
What that body do? How about that, huh?
Even skeptical reviews of the film
Show
have
me
fallen
the
far short of confirming
dumper.
the hoax, with most studies simply noting that the creature's true identity cannot be determined, which is more than a fair statement for footage shot on 16mm film from such a great distance. Sadly, no hard evidence of the creature exists, which begs the question of how such a prominent woodland figure could exist and leave behind zero hard evidence. Many believe that the creature is more intelligent than a normal primate and believe that they may show some level of care for their dead, perhaps secreting them away in caves or other locations as a form of a very primitive burial rite. What is known is that the natural state of North American forests can actually work to decompose even bones and scatter them wide enough as to make their discovery difficult, if not impossible, especially if Bigfoot is a primate with a very low population. The low population theory is supported by much of the evidence gathered on the creature, with some estimates ranging at a population of only a few thousand across North America. Animals like Bengal tigers are very much real and have an even lower population count thanks to hunting by humans. They too rarely, if ever, leave remains to be discovered by humans, despite their environment being located mostly inside the most populated country in the world, India. If we were to judge the existence of Bengal tigers by the same standard we use on Bigfoot, well, the scientific community would have very little actual evidence of their existence. Many Bigfoot researchers believe that the creature not only has a very low population, but one that is actively being made extinct by human activity. These massive bipedal creatures, if they exist, would require substantial range to support their massive caloric requirements. And while studies have shown that there does in fact exist enough subsistence in American forests to meet these requirements, the range of a group of these creatures would have to be extremely.
That's why the Green New Deal should be revoked.
And activities like the damming,
motherfuckers,
interrupting fish supplies.
If we go green, if we go green, the Bigfoot population will come back and take our women. They'll take our women. They can't take our women. No, they'll take me too. No, we can't have that. We gotta protect our people. Listen to me.
May perhaps truly be our most intelligent relatives, but are surely on the way to complete.
The Green New Deal will create more Bigfoot population. That's what I'm trying to say.
Extinction. Sadly, they may fade away entirely before their existence is conclusively proven.
There we go.
Sometime in the future, remains may be discovered that show that once a great ape truly did stalk the American wilds. Ready for more spooky stuff? Check out the terrifying
Class dismissed! His name is Professor Volgate. Professor Volgate.